again. Okay. We have how to answer the questions of true, false, and not given. Now, let's come here. You will have a long passage about some subject. After the passage, there will be some statements. Statements means questions. What you need to do is to decide if each statement, each question is a true, false, or not given based on the passage. Based on the passage. Mostly, they come to you in different way. I don't mean the same words here. I mean mostly they come to you as synonyms. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, what's a synonym? It's different word or different words giving the same meaning.
Mm,
What you need to do first is to read the questions. Then look for the information in the passage and decide. 99.9% they come respectively. That means they come in order. 1 before 2, 2 before 3, 3 before 4. Okay?
okay.
Now we are going to explain how to do that. For example, we have this in the passage. Here, this increase in cybercrime has alarmed many experts. The question says, cybercrime is on the rise. The question here is it true?
True.
Why? The question here is how to decide. Okay? Firstly, you read the question. Underline the synonyms. Different words, but they give the same meaning. Underline any key words. Look for contradictions. Before we come to look for contradictions, we notice here, cybercrime is a keyword. It's the main word, and on the rise is also a keyword. After underlining the keywords, go back to the reading passage and quickly scan. Scan, that means look for these words or synonyms to them. To look for the words or the synonyms of them. We notice here cybercrime is mentioned in both sentences clearly, and we can find the synonym of on the rise, and that is this increase, because increase means go up. Okay? Which means something more. Got the idea?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And so both the statement and the sentence in the passage give the same meaning in which we decided the statement is it true. Any questions here?
No.
Okay. The most important thing is that you look for contradictions, such as some, only, never, usually, all, almost, etc. Because those contradictions change the meaning. They change the meaning. For example, in the passage you have, some people in England like tea with milk. Some people in England like tea with milk. While in the question, tea with milk is always preferred by British people.
False.
It will be false, because always is different from some. But if we have it, tea with milk is sometimes. Okay, in this case, is often, we may say. By the way, in British English, we say often, we don't say often. Is often preferred by British people. It will be true. Okay? This is how they try to trick you and mislead your focus in the IELTS. Sometimes they do that. Okay? Any questions?
No.
Okay. Let's come to the false. If the fact is clearly written, but gives different or wrong information, it's false. Or when we have a contradiction that changes the meaning as we have just explained. Okay?
Okay.
Let's take an example. For example, If you have in the passage, the first personal computer was invented in the 1970s, and the question says personal computers were first invented in 1990. 70s, 90 is false. It's clear.
False. Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Oh, another example. Let's take another example here. Some children should eat broccoli. All children should eat broccoli. The sentence is false
False.
because we have some in the passage and all in the statement. So the information in the statement does not match. Although the sentences say children should eat broccoli, okay, but we
Yeah.
said it's wrong, false. Why? Because we have some, we have all. Sometimes we have almost everyone, and we have everyone. It's also false because almost does not mean everyone. Got the idea?
Yes.
Any questions here?
No.
It's clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Not given. Here, I want you to focus, please. When the fact is not written, was no wrong information written either. In this case, do not deduce, do not guess. In the true false not given, do not guess. Don't deduce, don't give results from your mind, okay? Got the idea?
Yes. Yes.
Is simply not given, which means the information is not mentioned in the passage. Before we go on with it, I will give you a simple example. For example, I will give an example about you, Hussein. Hussein, for example, Hussein studies in Baghdad, works in Baghdad. He spends his leisure time, that means his spare time, his free time, uh, going to restaurants in Baghdad. He goes to the park each Friday. This is in the passage. In the question, Hussein lives in Baghdad. Is that true?
Not given.
Is that false? We can't decide here. We just say not given. Why? It doesn't say it clearly. You cannot witnessify it. You cannot see it with your eyes written. You got it?
Got it.
Okay. Sometimes instead of live, we say stays. We say is a tenant. Tenant, Tenant. A tenant in.
Mm.
Okay. Yes, it's true in this case. Got the idea?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions here?
No.
Should I go on?
Yes.
Okay. Let's take those examples. In the passage you have, although once eradicated from Toronto, bed bugs have made a comeback and are now considered one of the leading pests in the city. One of. Okay? Rats are the most common nuisance Torontonians face. It's not given. Why? We have bed bugs are one of. That means they are not the most common. You got it? It says one of. Could be they are the most common, could be not. We don't know. You got the idea?
Yes. Yes.
It's not mentioned clearly if they are the leading pests or not. So in this case, this question, when it says rats are the most common nuisance Torontonians face, it's not given. Let's move to another example. The same example, but in another way. Although once eradicated from Toronto, bed bugs have made a comeback and are now considered one of the leading pests in the city. The question says, rats are one of the most common nuisance Torontonians face. This is one of, so it's not given. We don't know.
No.
Why? It's one of, and here is one of. Yes, it's one of. We may have 10, 20, 100 pests. So we don't know. whether this sentence is true, false, or not given. Okay?
Okay.
But if we have them as, focus on this one. Although once eradicated from Toronto, bedbugs have made a comeback and are now considered the leading pests in the city. I have erased one of. I have deleted one of. Rats are the most common nuisance Torontonians face. In this case, the sentence is false. Why?
False.
Because it says bedbugs are the most, and here it says rats are the most. It gives different information, wrong information. Okay?
Yes.
Any questions here?
No. It's okay.
Let's take another example, which is a bit more complicated. It talks about, yes, I want you to focus on this one. The first personal computer was invented in the 1970s. This is in the passage, in the text. In the question, personal computers were first invented in 1970. The statement here is not given.
No.
Why? Because the sentence,
1970s
yes,
or 70.
the S means time duration of 10 years. That is from
Decade.
70 to 79. Yes, precisely, you are right. It's a decade. While the statement is specified, even if the statement says 71, 72, 73, until 79, it's not specified in the text. So it's not given.
Again.
It's not given. You got it?
Got it.
Okay. But if we have them as in the passage, the first personal computer was invented in 1976. Personal computers were first invented
True.
in the 1970s. Is it true? Why? Because in the text is specified, and the question talks about a time duration of the specified year, okay, in which it's within this time duration in the passage, so it will be true. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back to the first example. In the first example, the first personal computer was invented in the 1970s. If we have it in the question, for example, personal computers were first invented in let's say in 1980, 69. It's false in this case, the question. Why? Because it's not a year from the time duration that is within. You got it?
Got it.
Any questions here, Hussein?
No.
No questions. Okay, now, just a second. We have sometimes time tenses differences. That means in the question, in the text, in the question or the statement, we have a sentence in the simple past or the simple present. Then you go back to the text or the passage, as we call it. You go back to it, you find the time difference. For example, in the question, the sentence is in the simple past. In the text, the sentence in simple present, or the